And we did manage to get the 35.
Get to 35, yes.
So it has been fun. It's always fun when you all pop in here, even if you just say something. It's just entertaining to like see you guys, have you guys check in, let us know what's going on. And we've been away for a little while too.
Yeah,
So,
for about 2-3 weeks now.
yeah. So it's nice to come back and have this response still.
So during summer, now that it's summer and now that we're streaming and can actually inform you guys,
Yes.
there's gonna be that time change of instead of maybe mornings, it might be mid-morning.
It will fluctuate
So,
more in the
yeah.
summer.
Yeah, it'll fluctuate. And like Raah mentioned, during that first maybe week or two of July, there's his family time.
I will still bring my system, so what we could do is we could just dual stream like we used to, where like I play from the system, connect to you, and we could see how connection works like that. Because I'll be on the other side of the US. Like not the West Coast, but I'll be from south to north.
You'll be mid.
Yeah. So we'll see what kind of connection I get up there. Because what is the closest server to Michigan?
But that's good for me as my time zone is much later. So I can catch more streams.
Alright, that's good information for us then.
Yeah.
That's perfect. But yeah, we'll definitely keep you guys updated on what's going on. Because we want to continue this. We don't like when we fall off the wheel like this.
Just, here's the thing. If you're wondering why Raw hasn't really been communicating, his main phone's MIA.
Yeah.
Well, not really MIA, but it's like
it's in recovery. It's in the nursing agency. It's the screen got broke.
Yeah.
And to replace it costs not a small amount of change.
And if you guys are in relationships or just have a family life, then you know those unexpected things that come up. Just things that come up. It's almost like a switch. Once you have the word husband on there, almost everyone requests you to do shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's hilarious because I've seen his relationship with his wife from when they met to now, and that's what I observed. When you guys were dating, sure, there would be asked for this or that, but then the moment things started getting like boyfriend, then husband,
fiance to husband.
Oh yeah, and then those 3 levels, it's like, oh, he's available, right? Call him up. Let's do this.
Anytime,
or this family function's happening. He's available, right? Let's do this. Or hey, there's something more to do, honey. Something sudden to do.
You remember the joke? What is the joke? That men can't relax. Like
no,
isn't it like a joke where like people make comedy of it where they're like women can't let men relax? I don't feel like it's accurate, but I feel like people joke about it.
I feel like it's more like partners who do not do the same hobby.
Got you. Yeah.
I'll phrase it that way so it's not clipped without context.
Yeah, that's fair. This is true.
Because I do remember, actually I do not want to state that on stream, okay. So we'll not talk about that.
But yes, you see that? 10 years, I applaud you.
Been with the missus 10 years. But, like, I'm not in a relationship, but I observe, and it's what I recognize.
You see the changes that take place, the transitions of priority.
Yeah, when, I understand familial priority, but then once, I'm talking about that marriage and transition and stuff like that, for some reason, it's like, the higher power, for some reason, it's like, something always comes up. Something always comes up.
There's always something.
There's always that joke between men who are just trying to find time to game. There's a joke of, okay, everything's set. My checklist is set. Like my checklist is set.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's good. I'm about to game. Oh wait, why is my partner so quiet? Is she pissed? What's going on?
The questioning.
So then you're like,
get your SO a PC and introduce. or to your favorite game. It worked for me and only took
5 years of pursuing. But here's the thing.
Oh my goodness.
During summer, they have time for it. It's just they don't have space for it. There's
yes.
There's
yeah.
that.
The house market, I'm sure you all have heard, but the market right now is so heavy right now financially. I think everyone can agree. So
I mean, you could probably get away with a gaming laptop, but then
is that what I want though? Because we both know what long term and short term is, and we know with stuff like this. Now, if it's what is best fit for the moment, then that's the best option.
That could work. A gaming laptop could work because these days they're getting kind of close with what
having something I could transport with me like that would help too because of streaming.
Yeah.
Just pulling it up and having like not obviously like what you have, but having something where I can kind of mimic it on a smaller scale.
Yeah. The only thing that you'd have to do is probably find a long enough Ethernet cable because
I have a 10-foot Ethernet cable. I don't know why I bought it, but I bought it.
You finally have a reason to use it now.
So yes, we appreciate, and the chiming in is absolutely fantastic because I did not realize that both the people in here have commitment longer than I have. So I applaud both of you and your partners because people don't hold on that long anymore.
That's actually something that's very valid. Where if you have the similar
interests, hobbies,
it makes you guys understand each other more.
Well, and I can tell you guys, like me and my spouse, we're very different. Like, it's funny, we are born in the same month, different by 2 days. 2 days is all.
And years, so that means a whole generation gap.
Yes.
Of what you
we are 5 years different in age gap. I'm not afraid to disclose that because age above, whatever. But the point being is we're so different that I have no problem doing the things that she wants to do for entertainment. And we both have started recognizing that, like, okay, they want to do this, so we'll let them do that. And then when it's like when I want to do something fun, I hope he'll reciprocate the same excitement for me when we do it. And like when you have that kind of give and take mentality, it makes it so easy to like talk to each other and be like, okay, I don't have to worry that she's gonna jump down my neck because like, oh, the trash is out. No, she was like, hey, go ahead and game and leave the trash till you're done.
As cheesy as it sounds, communication is key.
Yes.
And this is more with your details. I'll let you handle that detail part.
No, it's true. Like, communication plays a huge part. Because if you tell them the wrong thing, that's where problems will go awry.
Where they misinterpret something.
That's true too, where you got to make it clear what you meant. Because they pick up more on, well, tone and inflection I have learned a lot of in recent times. And there's always got to be compromise on someone's part. See?
Yep, that's the...
Communication, trust, compromise, and respect. Okay, I like that. 4.
Now, the thing is, like, for compromise, like, everyone's compromising something. Everyone's
Usually.
compromising something. Because, let's be real, if you had the ideal partner, it'd be boring. Because let's just say I've met people who are like a reflection of a girl version of me. I don't want to date me.
I love me.
Like, I understand loving yourself before you find someone, but then...
Oh, would you date yourself?
Yes.
Real...
It's one of those things where, like, how would you react dating yourself? Whereas, like...
I don't know, I've only ever known me.
It's like
to have a cutout version of me next to me, a
clone of yourself, but then the opposite gender, but then have a similar train of thought.
I'll say that whenever me and my spouse say the same word at the same time,
I wouldn't date me either. Can't imagine waking up to that in the morning. So yes, you know what I'm talking about. Whenever you meet like people who are like that,
oh my goodness,
different version of you.
That's hilarious. Though.
That's why the saying "opposite attract."
Yeah.
is there because to like grow, you kind of need exposure for something different. If you're constantly exposed to just what you're used to,
Yeah.
you're not really gonna grow.
It does help growth. So, I like this though. It's nice having a chat with.
And Summer is actually a.
Yes, people of similar interests do butt heads so much.
And that's why I say I would not date myself, because of the conversation.
Would you tolerate yourself?
The conversations. But then the person I'm referring to, she's like a more extreme version of me, where I'm more open to possibly changing, whereas the person is got a little lady boner for Amy Winehouse, because it's the only thing she talks about every freaking time she actually engages in conversation.
There's only one interest. Yeah, that I can resonate with that.
I'm not going into detail about who this person is, but only really a major interest in fandom of liking Amy Winehouse, or liking one thing as an example.
Only one interest. Having
a negative mindset about themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not doing something, even when it's suggested and it's like stupidly easy just to try. I'm at least willing to try if you phrase it the right way. If you phrase it the right way, help me with my concerns of like the
you just have
cautions
feel,
and things like that.
Questions and concerns answered before you're like, okay. You want to essentially know everything laid out verbally and as much as you can imagine before you make the decision of, I will try this. That's
if it's something I'm not very interested in. Now, if it's something I'm interested in,
you might not need all that.
Yeah. But then in this case, in this example of this person suggesting to her to even stream because she has a PS5, she has ample time because she's a house girlfriend or something.
Gotcha.
I even pointed out that she is female. That is a freaking good asset.
Yeah, you got more magnetism than the average.
Even if, like most girls, they don't consider themselves pretty.
Someone else does.
I told her, like, you could just use your voice and
that'd be enough.
Literally,
that'd be enough.
The imagination of guys is
it runs rampant sometimes.
Yeah.
It does.
There is a thing called precaution approach.
There's immediate hostility. It'll gauge an equal response in the aspects.
Wow.
How does one approach where it's not hostile, but I feel like this is a good question to ask. Like, what is hostile to you specifically? Like them being like loud and like demanding, or them like suggesting like kind of calmly and like collectively, I guess, like almost like beating around the bush or being direct.
Yeah, it really depends on the person too. And with it being summer, I know we'll be limited because it flies by. Summer will fly by. But then this conversation is really making me want to do podcasts where we'll just talk about random stuff. We'll maybe talk about, we'll maybe watch a couple shows. Like we'll talk a little bit about One Piece. We'll talk a little bit about maybe Power, that show I showed you. We'll talk about
Stars actually too. I think
we'll talk about other shows, and we'll talk about certain topics.
Things going on in the world.
Yeah,
I'm sure are interesting.
And we won't shy away from talking about people, but we'll
obviously
try to keep identities.
Names. Yeah.
Yes,
don't disclose names. You know, no one wants to be ousted. Nobody does. No one.
But here's the thing: once you're online, you're constantly talked about.
Oh yeah, of course.
Tone of voice, the edge that it can be heard, the sensors play a key part of things, you know.
Okay, I feel like I get a better visualization.
That I definitely understand because it's for
where you're
women and
almost like instead of interrogating them with questions, you have to be like, because you can't ask them why or how come. It's almost like you have to be like, well, what, like you said, what makes you think you can't do it? Why don't
Why
you
do
wanna-
you feel that you
Yeah.
can't do it?
Because us as guys, we're
for
thinkers.
my experience with women, asking them why do they feel so
Yeah.
and so is a better approach.
No, and that's a good example I can go off of with GP here is whenever my wife talks to me and she asks me stuff like, how do you feel about this? I don't ever say how I feel. I usually say, well, I think we should do this.
Yeah, no, you should
Like-
you should literally go you could go abstract or descriptive.
Here's a good question. I feel like this will help.
Give me an example, and I will. I'll pretend to be you. Like, I'll pretend to be you.
Alright, I'm trying to think of it. So, like, essentially giving a suggestion. Like, I feel like if we do this, I feel like if we divert our attention to this area, we'll see this much growth. And then I'd be like, I think that might be a good idea. Like, that's how I would literally follow up. Or if I don't, I'd be like, I don't think that'll work. Instead of me being like, I feel like that'll work. I always, for some reason, I change it when I'm giving my response where I'm like, I think that won't work.
Here's the thing, when asked about something like that, I feel good about this idea, but I also feel nervous about this. That's more of a...
man.
So, yeah.
That's tough for me, because that's a sense of vulnerability that I don't think I've had a lot of exposure to.
You need to practice that, because in my experience, some women are more responsive to that, because they're asking you that for easing their own emotion.
I know,
of that.
but were we just pre-coded to like not give feeling responses growing up? Like our generation.
For maybe as a generation thing for you, but then for me, I was around my mom a lot. So I grew up exposed to really raw emotion. So I got used to like really dealing with that. Whereas like...
Yeah, that makes sense. Whereas like for me, I was through a bunch of different households where people were always telling me how I had to be and what I had to do. There was no feeling.
Yeah.
So I kind of get that. I think it would help. Listen to the way the topic is being discussed. If you can hear or pick up on emotion in it, that usually helps with engagement. Easing into things also helps in a sense too. Okay.
That's a different way of phrasing what I mean.
Yeah,
too.
It's like, just like you're talking about. Apparently, I guess in the means of conversation, I dive in the pool instead of sticking my toe in and be like, this water's a little chilly. Or instead of like, it's a little warm. Instead, I go to the diving board.
It's not something you're used to practicing. It's not because you're not emotionally intelligent. It's because you just
protect the emotional status.
You just haven't. That's a good way of phrasing your thing.
Yeah.
But in my perspective, it's that you haven't practiced it yet. Where it's.
No, I'm agreeing with you.
Like, have you never had a really, really, and I'm talking, okay, for women that have had these arguments, have you never had a really raw emotional...
Alone? Whenever I feel emotionally, like, tapped in where just my emotions are running me, I'm alone. I'm not around people.
You've never had a conversation with your wife or with a partner where you're pouring it all out. You've never done that. And I'm not talking about facts. I'm talking about emotion. What you're feeling about it. Your frustration. How it makes you feel. How pissed off you are that this has happened.
I mean, a handful of times, but I feel like most of the times they're reciprocated.
Not on that level. You've like
not the time you had to come get me.
No, not. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about
just in general,
where like you're expressing what you're actually feeling and how it makes you feel. You've never had a raw conversation like that where you're literally just pouring it all out?
No.
So-
Like, just to answer in simplicity, no. Like, I have had moments where I poured out, but I have not had moments where I pour it all out. Like, and I can tell you, in my bloodline, so to speak,
It's round to round.
no, all the guys are like that. Even my cousin, whom you know, essentially we do what everyone says not to, where we bottle up the emotions because we are supposed to be the stable, like emotionally stable, mentally stable, physically stable. Even when we don't feel it, we have to uphold the image of it. And then when we go alone, we essentially are just pouring it to nothing. Like, no one is around to dump it to, so we dump it into nothing. Or we let it overflow until we literally capsize and go ballistic on people.
Dude, man, I want this to be such a podcast right now because I could keep going on. I could keep
I'm
talking.
being serious. Like, that's
like
how
I could keep talking about this. Where it's like, I get what you mean though, because on a tangent, I see it as, you know, for men who hold it in, not like that, but for men who hold in their emotions like you do, like you've grown used to, I wonder if there's a trade-off where you hold in that emotion, but then that raw charisma and stuff, that's like the trade-off that you get by holding in your emotion. Versus for me, if I'm comfortable with someone, I'll pour my emotion out.
Mm-hmm.
But then the opposite sex detects that as weakness for some reason. Like, that's my train of thought right now. Thing is, for me, for conversations with me and Raah, it bounces around everywhere, guys.
Oh yeah, sometimes it can like chain link to stuff you wouldn't think would be connected. But that's why it's funny you say. Now, I've had people do it to me, and this is how I know when they've done it, because I've actually felt uncomfortable. And it's not their fault, it's my fault. I recognize the discomfort's coming from within me, where I'm like, I don't think I'm allowed to, like, harbor this with you. Like, that's all you.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry,
like,
that's all you.
Like,
I can't
like,
take that.
Like, see, pretty much that's kind of why I don't really have a lot of friends, because growing up how I did, I grew up learning how to actually not bottle it up.
Yeah.
I mean, it comes out in anger first, but then I learned how to control that. So now it's like, if I do trust someone, then I'll voice and vent it out.
Yeah.
But then for some reason, going back to what I said with the trade-off, people who seemingly control and hold their emotions, their trade-off is they exude this charisma where, like you've mentioned, for some reason people are drawn to you.
Yeah, I call it magnetism for some reason.
But then for me, in my perspective, just being myself where I'm showing my emotion,
Yeah.
it feels like the opposite sex.
Like it's a repellent for some reason, instead of magnetized, like pulling them in.
Yeah, the only time that it seems to pull people in is if someone's already really, really broken, like heartbroken, and stuff like that. That's the only time that it seems like people like.
Yeah, because I do know that sometimes people are drawn to sadness for some reason. Like, some people are drawn to sadness. Like, emotional statuses do sway, like, almost like a radio wave. Like, you can't see it, you can feel it, and you can kind of sense it because you can't hear it. But it's like a different element of it. Like, because I do pick up the sensory element when people are like that. And then just like you having the hyper awareness, if I'm like at a group of like a table grouped up with people, and let's say like everyone has a different personality.
It feels like it's more of a survival.
Yeah,
aspect.
when one person like gets sad, and then all the girls all of a sudden are just around them. I've seen that in high school, where like one kid's just upset, he pours himself on a like at a table, and then out of nowhere people just flock. I'm like,
yeah,
why are y'all doing that?
I've seen that, but then I've also seen the opposite, where somene's pouring out
and people flood away.
It's like the
a rock.
Malcolm in the Middle thing, where it's like
water
you're
bending,
clairvoyant, and then everyone's staying away from you.
Yes, I do agree with that, because I don't know what draws that in. I guess it has to do with what we talk about, where people find value in what they value.
Okay, you know what? Screw it, guys. This is gonna be like the first short thing of the random talks of GP and Raw weird
After Brawl podcast.
10-20 minute podcast. That's pretty much it. Okay, guys? Yeah, this is the first episode, so to speak.
Give some topics that you're interested in.
Yeah,
That helps us to assess how and what manner to talk about things.
yeah, so that'll probably wrap things up.
It has been fun.
Yeah,
It's been really fun.
especially with having... See, this is why I actually want to start the podcast thing, but yeah.
Because it gives people to chime in. Sorry, I have an itch.
Yeah. As long as it's not the other side where it looks like...
No, it ain't like that. No reach.
But yeah, topics of what we'll talk during the podcast portion of the stream. Like, if you guys, have shows you guys want us to check out, we'll check it out. We'll talk about it. We'll probably chain it to something else and go from there.
Heck yeah.
And of course, we'll probably limit podcast stuff to like the 45 minutes to an hour.
Definitely.
Because it can be exhausting going from topic to topic to topic to topic.
Yeah, it gets a little taxing after a while sometimes, so. But we will be here again. The plan is next Friday. Not sure what time of day, but we will coordinate and figure that out.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah. Just for you guys to be aware.
Oh.
Hold this.
Yeah. GP's got something for y'all.
Just in case you guys haven't done so already. Edit. Never generate copy. Raw has his own server, although he's not on there yet due to his main phone being...
Yeah.
That's Raw's server. Join
Hey!
it if you'd like. And I'll even pop in your latest video here.
Oh yeah, that seems to have been
His-
getting some attention, huh?
His latest video of Lock Quest. Check that out.
I was on that for
Subscribe
like
to the channel.
an hour and 10 minutes, I think. Hour and 15 almost. Because I was struggling to... Man, on hard, that thing was just too much.
Hour 9.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, guys, check Raw out. Join his server.
I'd appreciate it.
It'll announce when he goes live, so if you want to leave
Oh, true.
things
That's a
up and
notification.
whatnot. And guys, if you also stream, then
Oh, let us know.
yeah, network,
Yeah, we'll pop in. Give us the channels. Let us know what you're trying to do. We'll see how we can help out. Unity.
Have a good rest of the day, you two.
Aw,
Stay
thank
healthy.
you.
Yep.
Little hand.
Little hand.
You got a little hand waving. Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, guys. See ya.